From the 1011 Now Alert Center.
This is the Night Beat.
Sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors of Lincoln.
Good evening and thank you for joining me. I'm Jessica Blum with your headlines for Thursday, January 15th. First tonight, Governor Jim Pillen is laying out his vision for Nebraska in his annual State of the State address, from taxes to education and controversial new proposals. Going back to this morning, Governor Jim Pillen spoke to the unicameral, addressing taxes, state spending, and new proposals that could shape the rest of the legislative session. The State of the State is as strong as ever. Those were Governor Pillen's words during his more than 40-minute address, which touched on property taxes, state spending, and ending DEI in state higher education. Pillen says his administration has worked to shrink government, telling reporters at a press conference afterward claims that the state is cutting services are a myth. He's also calling the $471 million deficit a, quote, make-believe budget crisis, pointing to the state's $2 billion in reserves. Senator Dan Lanowski of Hastings saying exemptions have been given and that predicting revenue year to year is challenging, but they will balance the budget regardless. The governor also promoting Senator Kauth's transgender bathroom bills in his speech and defended them at the press conference.
We have to make sure that we protect our kids. I'll be darned if I'm going to have Hallie, my granddaughter, be going into a restroom having boys in it. Nebraskans, we're all on the same page. We are not going to let the vocal minority win on it. It's crazy. It's not who we are. It's not our values. It's unacceptable.
Not everyone agreed. Omaha Senator Terrell McKinney expressing disappointment, telling our 1011 reporter that the state should focus on getting out of a, quote, real budget crisis. He doesn't support Pillen's suggestions to reverse legislation that prevents suspension for preschool-aged kids or to eliminate DEI programs. Nebraska State Auditor Mike Foley is claiming favoritism by Governor Jim Pillen in a new report, saying that Pillen steered a $2.5 million state contract to his preferred choice, rather than going through the bidding process. The Nebraska Examiner first reported this story, saying it started back in May of 2024 when the Nebraska Department of Economic Development awarded the contract to a single bioeconomy consultant and lobbyist, Julie Bushel. Foley alleges that the state law was broken because the department, under Pillen's direction, did not go through the required bidding process for contracts worth more than $50,000. Instead, the contract was designated as an emergency contract in order to skip the bidding process, but neither Pillen nor the department explained what the emergency was or why Bushel's firm had to be the recipient.
The governor's office handpicked one party to be the winner of a $2.5 million contract with no bidding whatsoever. No one else had a shot at doing that kind of work. That's not fair. That just shows favoritism, which is strictly frowned upon under state law.
Foley says he sent an audit letter to Pillen's office earlier this month, noting that the contract did not comply with the legal requirements. He's also asking the legislature to consider tightening the rules this session to require that more offices, including his, are notified before any emergency contracts can go through, but that any other consequences for Pillen or the department are not up to his office. You can read the full Examiner story on our website at 1011now.com. The University of Nebraska Board of Regents unanimously approving a controversial $800 million deal today. That ends a nearly 30-year partnership between Clarkson Regional Health Services and Nebraska Medicine. The vote came after months of debate and a meeting delay, prompted by concerns over transparency from nearly 36 state senators. Under the agreement, Clarkson will give up its 50% membership in Nebraska Medicine, effectively giving full control of the health system to the University of Nebraska. Some NU healthcare staff spoke during the meeting, highlighting the pipeline of Clarkson students hired by Nebraska Medicine and expressing concern over potential staffing impacts.
Disruption in this pipeline during an already challenging workforce environment could weaken staffing stability and could put patient care at risk.
The news on January 2nd was a shock and confusing on how this could be affecting a school with a 137-year legacy as the first school of nursing in Nebraska.
Others took a more positive view. The CEO of Clarkson Regional Health Services spoke in favor of the deal, saying much of the money made will be donated back to Nebraska Medicine. while the Regents are emphasizing that the agreement strengthens alignment between UNMC and Nebraska Medicine.
I can count on probably 2 fingers something that has been of the magnitude that I believe for the future of Nebraska as large as this.
To me, it comes down to the mission, very clearly. We really want to lead the world. We're not kidding about that. And I know that it permeates the desires and the aspirations of every member of the Nebraska Medicine Board and every member of this Board of Regents.
For full coverage of today's meeting and details on the deal, be sure to head to our website. And now to an update this evening. A Lincoln Child Care Center is reopening after its license was suspended last month, following a complaint that a child was left in a cold garage as punishment. According to the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, the Children's Circle Montessori School reopened under a probationary license and is being ordered to pay a $125 civil penalty. The reopening comes just a month after DHHS filed the motion for a protective order, forcing the center to close immediately. 1011 did reach out to the daycare's owner, who says she cannot comment at this time. A 50-year-old Lincoln man was hospitalized with serious injuries after an aggravated assault near a bus stop, according to police. Police were called to the bus stop near 26th and South Streets around 6:30 in the morning Tuesday on the report of an aggravated assault. A witness said 3 people wearing masks assaulted the victim when he came up to the bus stop. Police say the victim was also tackled to the ground, beaten, and hit with a baseball bat. The victim was taken to a local hospital with broken ribs, a cut to the top of the head, severe swelling, and bruising. Anyone with information is asked to reach out to police. Now to Husker news, the men's basketball team is gearing up for a road battle against Northwestern. Nebraska is ranked 8th in the country and is coming off of a dominant win over Oregon on Tuesday. Head coach Fred Hoiberg says the Huskers need to come out strong against the Wildcats.
We have to continue with the mindset of where we've been on the road so far this season in league and get off to a great start. That is the reason that we've had success to this point, and Northwestern has had a way of jumping on us early, and we got to be ready. We got to be ready from the jump.
Northwestern is in the midst of a 4-game losing streak, and the Wildcats have yet to win a conference game. Nebraska will tip off against Northwestern on Saturday at 3 p.m., with that game being broadcast on the Big Ten Network. Today marks 1 year since the death of beloved Husker fan Jack Hoffman. Hoffman passed away at the age of 19 after a long battle with brain cancer. He was first diagnosed in 2011. In the year since his passing, the Team Jack Foundation, co-founded by Hoffman and his family, has continued its mission, hosting multiple fundraising events to support pediatric brain cancer research. In a social media post, the foundation says it remains committed to honoring Jack's legacy by fighting for children and families facing brain cancer, adding his spirit continues to inspire their work. Finally tonight, and rounding out your night beat, is a check of the 7-day forecast. Temperatures are going to be warmest on Friday, closer to midnight tonight and falling throughout the day, but being rather steady in the low to mid-30s. In the afternoon, a lot of wind coming, really, too, with gusts as high as 45 to 50 miles per hour possible within the Lincoln area, which is going to make it feel like the teens throughout the day. And then we're looking at a deep freeze this weekend, low temperatures in the single digits, which we have not seen in about a month's time, and our coldest high temperature of the season so far on Saturday with a high of 14 degrees. Before I move on too far into the weekend, though, be careful. Some travel may be affected by quick-moving snow showers that could quickly reduce visibility in a snow squall-like fashion. So we will be sure to keep an eye on that for Friday before we dig ourselves out of the hole a little bit on Sunday. Still cold by MLK Day on Monday, and then moderating more by the middle of next week.
You've been listening to The Night Beat.
Sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors of Lincoln.
Watch, listen, and stream on the 1011 app on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.